So maybe we just get rid of that. And then that doesn't help. Um, what a That's weird. Alrighty. Well, we're just going to go from here, I think. Okay, so we had a little bit of a hiccup earlier. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. I think my internet sort of cut out for a moment, and as we all know the NBN to do, and so I had to, well, unfortunately, I didn't know for a good 2 hours, so I didn't actually know about it, and just kept on going for ages and ages and ages, and then found out from my roommate, so thank you to them. So we're back. So I I saw where we last were at was like down here. Um, I don't remember where we were exactly, so I'm just going to summarize. Basically, this guy sounds like he's say First Nations elder from who operates out of Camp Sovereignty, and he sounded like he was saying stuff that amounted to there were people coming to the camp taking like temporary refuge or whatever you want to call it, like just hanging out at the camp, who were occasionally sort of picking fights and whatnot with Oz marchers. And basically, I was saying that doesn't really surprise me. Like they probably like some of reading those the witness not statements, but like quotes or whatever from that noticer article. Like I'm not denying that that ever happened or whatever. And from the sounds of it, this guy was saying that they were sort of picking a few fights, and that he was sort of directing people to not do fights, and that there was a more clear example of how they operate where they just tell people very staunchly no. Um, I mean, this guy does admit he wasn't there, but I hear what he is saying. Um, I don't know. I think I left off the whole thing basically just saying that it doesn't really, at the end, ultimately, nothing what he's saying, and I don't think he is at all saying this, which is that it doesn't justify, well, these people are saying that this kind of justifies the NSN attack on Camp Sovereignty, and I don't think he believes that. It's not what it sounds like he's saying. By the way, I have a pizza here that I'm going to be eating some of occasionally because I'm hungry. So, oh dear, we got Shelby One back to haunt us. Alrighty. So I just wanted to finish that bit off there, and then we can just move along. Um, Beck Freedom. Oh yeah, she got offended and thought that there was some sort of inconsistency with the idea of someone calling her a racist for marching against mass immigration and asking everyone to march united under only the Australian flag. And then he's the one who's organizing the multicultural anti-racism Sydney event on the 13th of September. And here's a video of him burning the Australian flag. I'm struggling to see the inconsistency that she thinks that she is making clear here. I think she is implying that the Australian flag means white. I think ultimately that's what we're getting at here. Uh, yeah, and that she's not really a big fan of the guys who have broken off from their group because of the neo-Nazi connections being reported on. These were the ones who were like, no, we're more sovereign citizen, and I guess just for really more aesthetic reasons, they just really they don't want to be involved. Uh, so they want to do their own thing, which conveniently is on September 13th. But it's just about government corruption. It's kind of a meh. So she's not a fan of them. And then yeah, then we come back into the Tucker Carlson, Jesus Christ, the Charlie Kirk um dick sucking. Which, granted, I mean, he's dead. He died. It's hard to feel anything for a guy whose rhetoric has polarized the people so reactionary and so vitriolic and violent and accepting of violence. He's mocked and discredited and spread misinformation about assassination attempts on other political figures. I just don't really feel anything for it. The left hate the right. Hashtag the left hate the right. Heard it here first, folks. Um, and then yeah, you're just gonna keep having a lot of. We're just gonna get a lot of Charlie Kirk stuff. So that was Beck Freedom. I think that was sort of like the first hour, and that was about it of what we had before. So I guess that was the Beck Freedom section, which to be fair, she deserves her own dedicated hour or whatever it was because she is a crazy motherfucker. Like at some stage I'm gonna probably listen through her like podcast podcast because it was just like an old one that she did like I don't know, I think she finished it at the beginning of this year or something or other. Anyway, then we have the McMullins. So this guy was one of the organizers for Brisbane. To be clear, this is all going to be within the context of Brisbane because that's where I am. So that's what I'm familiar with. I'm also not that familiar with all the other organizers. So what can you do? He's really big on Western values, really big on Western civilization. As we know, that's really just we know that that's just placeholder names for white. As we've seen before, Australian ultimately means white European. Sorry, Australian means Western, means European, means white. So it's it's what you expect. It's 30 minutes. I'm not bloody listen to that. This time we're gonna go backwards because I don't know, we're gonna do this differently. So you can get rid of all the subhumans that murder people for having debates, though. Wait, what? Bob Carr. You'll never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. I think it's worth to have a cost of. Unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have this. Wait, because wasn't Bob Carr. Yeah, wasn't Bob Carr. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he had something to do with when we passed the Australian law, the Australian gun laws. Apparently not. I am off on the mark on that one. Blown out. Alright. Just a sample of the comments on a Guardian Australia Instagram account celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. Like, okay, let's see. Today is a good day. It's weird seeing all the gun lovers so scared of the guns. The irony. Rest in peace. So, I don't know if I'd really say that that's egregious. I was kind of expecting a bit more offensive than that. I guess that one was a bit mean. He liked guns, said they were necessary, got what he loved. Guess that one was a bit mean. That one, I feel like you could have found worse than that. I feel like you could have found worse than that, to be absolutely honest. So that was a bit weak. The thing about Charlie's murder is just how many people have the exact same opinions. Does that mean they think we all deserve murdering? Ooh, maybe that should leave some people to the realization of what that means. This is an Australian too, like, hmm. This guy ran for Trump under Trumpeter Patriots for let me so this guy, oh, look at this. Those babies will never hug their dad again. Oh no. So sad. Truly a tragedy. They don't give a fuck when it's like, I'm just gonna say when it's anyone else, but like, let's be real, even if it's just like, even if, like, if it's a non-white person especially, they will never give anywhere near the amount of shit that they're giving this guy right now. Like, they are absolutely, what the fuck is this? I don't even. Wow, powerful. Check it out. I bet the other Paul. Filthy. Yeah, they didn't. He didn't like the McMullen fella. Didn't like the. He wasn't a fan of the Chasers headline. Are you okay? Day not going well at turning point. I think it's kind of good. I think it's a good one. I think it's pretty funny in my opinion. Um, just give me 1 second. Yeah. So let me just. Oh, here we go. So this is Rob McMullen. He ran for the Senate in Queensland, and his experience has been for a US based natural law institute, which I did a little bit of reading on them. They're like super crazy motherfuckers. They're kind of, funnily enough, US based. They're basically like, what are they called? I think they're called like the Federalist Society, or uh, uh, did I just have a light pop off? I think that one's running out of charge. Anyway, uh, they're sort of like the Heritage Society. What is it? Is it Heritage Society? I can't remember. It's this super like they have this really weird outlook of law where it is almost exclusively for the benefit of corporations. It's like the originalist shit. They reinterpret all they believe they interpret the constitutions for like the original intention. So this guy originally ran under Australia Party, and then he went with the Trumpeter Patriots, and he's since just become really popular among the far right. So he probably just found that to be the better avenue career-wise, which is, to be fair, I think I would I would probably say that Clive Palmer's a bit of a sinking ship at this point. He also, out of interest, has you can hire him for $1,100 anytime you want as a solo acoustic and DJ artist to entertain you. You can take a crowd anywhere from groovy acoustic sets up to a total dance party. He's very multi-capable. He can talk to you about the purity of the white race while also playing Wonderwall. What more do you want? So we'll just get rid of them. Are we literally like America will never be the same. Jesus Christ. This was 7 hours ago, man. Like this, I don't know how I missed this stuff before. Like this is really embarrassing. I just can't. Fucking savages. Carl Benjamin. Oh, fucking Carl Benjamin, Saigon avocado. Oh god, that's a whole other thing. I'm not even going to go near there. Okay, what? That's probably for Charlie Kirk. I wonder what that means. Does it? I don't. I'm not saying that this specifically has something to do with like his skin color or something like that, but I'm not familiar with what white has to do with this yet. I'm pretty sure black is normally the color for dead, right? What did you expect was going to happen? Why young? He hangs hanging out with the Shallow Chal. I always get his name wrong. Uh, where was it? He kind of is a bit boring, to be honest. I'm gonna be absolutely honest. Like his most defining feature to me so far has been that he's really into Charlie Kirk, which doesn't surprise me. Uh, I remember, yeah, he did write this whole thing, which is a whole thing where he's basically arguing that freedom is not the right to do something, whether it's the freedom of speech, whether it's the freedom to vote, whether it's the freedom to work or whatever. Uh, it's more, it's actually what freedom actually is in his eyes is responsibility. It's the idea that because of whatever predestined attributes you have, being a man or a woman, say, following the duties that come with it, that is freedom, which is a very convenient belief to hold for any authoritarian-minded person. Oh yeah, he does have a weird obsession with this Anglo-Celtic thing, which I don't understand. I think I'm gonna guess that this is a thing only because uh, the whites in Australia have to figure out a way to do, uh, original Australian, legacy Australian, whatever shit, but they can't cut out Scots or the Irish because not that it was so much get rid of their numbers, it would show how ludicrous this whole thing is. So they go with Anglo-Celtic, and I've never known Anglo-Celtic to be a an ethnic group of any kind. But I do find this to be point in case, perfect example of what's the reason why some would say that these people are racist is because so they start with Anglo-Celtic, right? Ethnic group, small ethnic group. Well, not that small in Australia, ironically. Uh, no, and then they refer to British settlers. So then they're going to just the Brits, which granted there were a few Irish and Scottish, prisoners and whatnot. British settlers, a small group of people who started in Australia. No, who invaded Australia and set up shop and started doing their thing, as we know what they did. Uh, Yet then we just jump to all Australians. This is a huge let me read the whole statement, sorry. This is this type of storytelling that I referenced in my speech. The type that minimizes the Anglo-Celtic identity and the fact that we built Australia. This is what I mean. What is this like? When did we ever include the Celts in this? Normally it was Anglo-Saxon. Now I'm not saying we can't include the Celts. I'm just confused as to who we're really referring to in this whole thing. So, and then no one wishes ill will towards Aboriginals. But the fact is that they didn't build Australia, British settlers did. We'll leave that for what that is. Yeah. And the fact that other ethnic groups are more than happy to add to this pile-on against our history is a huge reason why Australians have had enough of them. Why Australians have had enough of them? Who are Australians? Not all Australians are Anglo-Celtics, my bro. I mean, I am, but I'm not a good example of my point. Uh, if we keep oh yeah, what's this? Why are libertarians like this? So what is this an issue with libertarians? A diverse population reduce social solidarity, which is good for economic growth. Oh yeah, okay, some sort of like don't you love it when like corporate business ghouls say shit that like they say shit like this, which just kind of fulfills the interests and the ideological beliefs uh, of people like the McMullen. Uh, Dusty Bogan. He had a whole thing. He had a whole screen himself. Doesn't like that apparently. Oh, have we jumped back to 2020, August 28? I guess we have. He didn't really post that much considering following the first. Yeah, he was a bit slow, not that busy. But, and then unfortunately the biggest news hit him hard. It was, yeah, it was, as we know, the Charlie Kirk shooting. It's crazy to think that this is like for them, their Messiah being killed. Like, what is this? What is this?
That is the best. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. Amen.
Okay, that's enough of that. That's weird as fuck. The ref will now rally around. Yeah. I mean, we don't even know so far who it is, right? Those babies were never. Yeah, it's true. I guess so that's the McMullen. I really think the main interesting thing about him is just that one, he ran for Senate, so it shows that he tried. Uh, and clearly found this to be the more profitable go. And two, um, in regards to the most interesting thing is the you can hire him for $1,100. I really want someone to do that just to see if that's real. Well, not see if it's real, but like see if he's still watching that, because we don't know how much he's worth. Maybe maybe he's still needing to pay the bills. Anyway, so then we have this other guy. Oz Integrity who like straight up, I'm not even gonna bother through it. He it's sort of schizo posts. He's just goes crazy. He just posts so much crazy shit. I can't really tell where he aligns. It's yeah, okay, interesting. So this guy seems to be pretty anti them, which maybe it's more so it's just easier now. He also seems to, I remember he was posting on a bunch of things. I mean, this one was funny. Stamp of communist, you're a communist. Daniel Andrews, you're a communist. Of course. Uh, he seems to really like posting articles, which I respect, but he's also really up in arms. That's right, really up in arms about not one single Labour politician acknowledging that it's National Flag Day. Not one! Not one. On what's the 8 days ago. That was really important. We will march for Australia. That was after you already marched for Australia. Just begun. Uh, requested to remove Australia vote, but on the back of an objection. Interesting. Hot take. I challenge every Australian senator to drape the Australian flag. This is really important to people. It's interesting because in Australia, we've never really been a hyper patriotic country. You know, we've never really been a country that's like falls on the flag on every issue. Like on every single thing, it's always about like there's always a group of people being like, "Oh, that's the most un-Australian thing." Like in America, that's the stereotype. That's the expected stereotype is that that's what you get. Um, we haven't really had that, and now we are, and it's just weird because at least with the American flag, it's kind of cool and has a cool history to it. We, in its own way, I mean, obviously there's issues with the American empire and all that stuff, but there at least in its own right is some sort of cool history to like how the flag came to be. It's the Australian flag, it's literally just we tacked on a few different symbols. It's just blue, a navy blue, but we tacked on a few symbols. Countries around the world, such as China, India, America, Brazil, Japan, Africa, Mexico, can celebrate their culture, celebrate their heritage and culture. Is it racist for Australians to celebrate Australian, Anglo, and Aboriginal heritage and march for Australia? See, this is the thing I find interesting, because then this guy lumps Aboriginal in with it, because as we know, there was nothing fucking Aboriginal inspired heritage, whatever. There was no Aboriginal stuff at all in the March for Australia. Point to me, other than, oh God, other than the beating of them at Melbourne, I didn't see shit. And so I don't know where that's coming from. If there was a march about Aboriginal heritage, that sounds fucking cool to me. That sounds interesting. That sounds like it's about stuff. building stuff. I also think it's funny that they have America in there because it's like, are you referring to like a particular America? You're being divisive, engaging in generational warfare. Is this the video from like years ago? Hang on. Oh, let's go for it, mate. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, please. Please load. Come on, Twitter. Oh dear. I think Elon's biting on the wires again. Well, that's a shame.
Everybody in Australia has experienced an uptick in seeing this kind of behaviour because people are able to organise online. And part of what drives us as the Albanese government and our mission to make online spaces safer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about this being necessarily having a centre to right leaning view. Oh, well, actually, hang on. Let's see. Does she say something about that?
Particularly for Australia. And as Minister for Communications, my concern is how we stop this from spreading online. I think everybody in Australia has experienced an uptick in seeing this kind of behaviour because people are able to organise online. And part of what drives us as the Albanese government and our mission to make online spaces safer, particularly for Australian kids, is the prevalence of this kind of thing and doing what we can where we can. And as Minister for Communications, my concern, and as
Yeah, I mean, again, it's another case of like he's having to whinge about it because it's going to affect him, but like it's I do have some concerns with what they're thinking about doing with the internet stuff, which I'm going to probably cover and release something about later in the year, but that is for then. It's different to Australian rights on human. Yes, that's just going to continue on that. I don't really want to engage on that stuff right now. Oh my God. Oh mate, he is a poster. Okay, he really goes crazy with posting shit. You know, kind of. I respect it. I respect it. He's got an interest. He might be a bit tistic, but aren't we all a bit? Aren't we all? To crab walk away from net zero targets and making emissions, but blaming Trump for reasons it's not achievable in his emissions, inferring it's simply not politically sustainable to reveal making some changes to crab walk away from. Wait, so is he? This guy is fascinating. Is he pro dealing with? Are you pro dealing with climate change?
Already a tough time.
Let's see.
Later this month, the government will release its 2035 target for cutting carbon emissions. But in an interview with the ABC, the Climate Change Minister Chris Bowen says that target may not be written into law and he'll have to assess whether there's a pathway to achieve it after it's announced. Here's political reporter Jake Evans.
The government has to submit this 2035 target this month to the United Nations, and it has to be a lift in Australia's ambition to cut emissions. The current target submitted to that UN body is for a 43% reduction in emissions by 2030. Already a tough target for the government to reach. Its most recent figures suggest that it's operating.
Okay, this bored me. I think I have a feeling that they're referring to I have a feeling they're trying to that he's anti. Oh, here we go. Do you support? No, new coal and nuclear. Well, I'm not gonna say that just because his audience believes that 83%, 83.7%, that therefore he does. But I have a feeling this has been somewhat curated over a period of time to safely say that probably is. Sustainable GDP growth is the. Oh, this is interesting. He's a fan of the SNAP poll. If the government is using mass immigration to prop up GDP, are you willing to drop immigration in favor of dropping Lima? Building new coal and nuclear to bring back manufacturing and heavy industry to Australia if it meant GDP would naturally grow. No, use mass integration, cheap core power, nuclear plus two, manufacturing plus two plus three. I don't know, but I guess I'm glad that most people went for the that one as opposed to the no, just get rid of all the non-whites. So I guess which ones? Just these two. All right. Let's see. Has made changes to its terms and conditions to force all debit users onto debit words. Ah, he's one of those. He's one of those. He's one of those anti digital wallet, digital money cards, digital credit, online credit, all that stuff. I mean, oh god, shit, fuck. This is gonna be one of those things where like I actually kind of agree somewhat, not 100%, but I just don't think it's because of woke. I just think it's because of business and corporations. If Liberal Oz did this, would you vote for them? What other demands? Install Hasty as leader. Repeal all censorship laws and net zero immigration. Jesus. I love their dream worlds. Their imagination go wild. Going wild on what they think would be like the best thing to happen. And to me, I'm looking at it like, oh my God, that's just speed running to the depths of a depression. Of like the Great Depression. This doesn't make any sense. The memes that write themselves were used to ensure Australians spoke English and integrated into our communities. We had cohesion, which we didn't. Maybe in your community, nowhere else. Well, not nowhere else, but you know. Now we have censorship as a tool to force multiple cultures without integration or assimilation of Australian values or culture. And then this, like, but this is a means for him to be able to communicate with people of other cultures. Like, this is a pro free speech, pro communication, pro assimilation, integration, elimination. It's pro all that, so I don't understand. Yep, yep, that's what it's like living in the regime of Albanese, old Labour Australia. That's what it's like here. That's life here. Jeez, man, are you okay? He reposts himself a lot. I see that. Racist statements. Whoa. Well, I never took it for this guy to stray away from hard topics. Which of the following do you consider racist statements in Australia? Preserve black heritage, preserve white heritage, preserve all of the above. I will say this is a great example of why part of why I'm doing this is just because I feel like this is great. This is funny as hell. And I don't even need to really debunk any of it. Sometimes I can if I feel like just to be a bit educational, because I'm trying to, try to do the whole journalism thing. But it's just funny. Oh God, Australia, are you ready for online censorship? Jail time for wrong thing. Do you have a backup plan? Oh yeah, that's right. That yeah, again, the digital censorship. Isn't that the guy? Jeez, he's not looking good. I forgot his name. What's his name? Rowan Dean. Yeah, he's seen better days. I remember he looked a bit better than that. Do you think it is thought about the impact? I don't want to look at the social media stuff. I don't want to look at that. That's not important. It's the Oz March shit. A cry for common sense. Why the flag wars matter. Oh, we might actually have this explained to us. Seems some in the media have finally seen the light. In Australia and Britain, the people are fed up with narcissism and wokeness. The rallying of ordinary people behind their national flag isn't racism, it's a bid to restore national pride. This might be what I need to read. Mind you, the Australian has always been like harping on shit like this. I don't know. Oh. Come on. Can't you let me just get away with this one? Um, that's okay. Maybe we can read the comments section. No, I want to read the comments section. How do you read it? See, I'm not familiar with X that much because honestly, I just don't like being on a site full of Nazis. It's just not really my thing. Maybe I do this. There we go. There we go. Media is all about survival. They will cut us down as soon as promote us. Oh, he's the libertarian. News Corp has been as committed to mass immigration as any full open borders Marxist utopian nut. I can guess they will try to ingratiate themselves while still shilling for slightly less obvious mass immigration induced destruction of the country. That's the thing, they don't like News Corp. They don't like Murdoch. They don't like Sky News either because while those institutions are very anti-immigration and very rhetorically very they fan the flames is I think the right term heavily. They do it big time. They at the end of the day are still ultimately pro-immigration because I think like one it's like a matter of at the end of the day the facts doesn't really bear in their favor that well. And two, they're wealthy benefactors that they ultimately serve. And so I guess they come across just enough pro-immigration to piss off these guys, which is funny, which is very funny because then you get to see some right on right, or fash on fash, otherwise, um, action, which I'm always down for. This is gatekeeping. They let this flow. They let this flow because the underlining message is that we are all Australians. I don't even know. Huh? Pride is narcissism. I was about to say Nazism. About time. Literally got the English flag there. Great, but too little, too late. Can't trust or rely on legacy media. They've been playing us for years. You really think they'll flick a switch? Delusional. No, most of us are sick Most are sick of the flood of immigrants, temporary visas, and foreign ownership, destroying citizens' quality of life, particularly for our young and the future generations. The cowards in the Australian turned comments. Oh, the cowards in the Australian turned comments off, though. Finally. Oh, he's a communist! The writer! What does it take to become a communist these days? I mean, geez, he writes for the Australian. Like, I've never known that I know the Courier Mail once, like, at least was somewhat like, I wouldn't say left wing, just like, willing to challenge power. I don't know about the Australian. Maybe they could smell the shit in the wind and are wanting to get in ahead of it and make out they were on the people's side all along. That we sure are fed up with the fucking fascists or fascists. To be fair, it's a normal misspell. It's not about race, it's about uniting us all under a common identity. To, to achieve common goals, identity politics from Labour is the most racist policy going. It divides us with the sole purpose, control. Wherever you are from, if you are Australian, this is your home. Unite. But see, that's the thing I don't get, because if you say that you don't ultimately agree with what with what this with what Oz Integrity or whatever his name is about. That's not what he's about, or at least that's not what the March for Australia was about. I just don't get it. With our nation's flag, the next thing to look forward to is Brussels. Communism has arrived. Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, these are the types of people who think like the EU. Yeah, the EU is fucking communist. Australian communism has arrived. That's what communism means. Show probable spam, please. Never mind. I regret looking at that. Is an inconvenient. I want to see if this guy's gonna do the, Charlie Kirk dick sucking. It's insane. It's insane. Oh, they're reposting themselves. Fuck it. So this guy, just to bring it back around to the idea of a welfare check, because that's what I feel like I'm doing here, because I want to know how these guys are doing. Because I got it, I was I unfortunately didn't know about these guys' existence only up until March for Australia, and so I've only just recently learned about them. And I don't do the best at expressing it sometimes, but I'm a caring person, and so I just wanted to see, they had like I said in the previous video, they had their school excursion. I want to see how they're doing, and evidently this guy is going off, posting fuckloads of stats and shit. Polls. He's this whole previous, not the weekend we've just had. Wait, the weekend we just had? Not the weekend we just had, but the one before it. Hyped him up. Labour's suicidal empathy is killing Australians. Immediate deportation for the entire family and immigration blocks must be reinstated. It's time we got past kindness, which is destroying our country. Remigration time. Too harsh. Had to ask. Beyond raising the age of criminal responsibility, African youth need more culturally aware support. I mean, what are you going to do? What, we're just going to send them back? I don't think they understand how unrealistic doing that is going to be, especially now. So anti-Semitism is oh no. Is he one of them? Is he one of the is he one of the anti-Israeli but like anti-Zionist, anti-Jewish guys who is anti-Semitism and the hate crime, but Zionists can openly engage in racism and everything's okay with it. I'm at the point where the entire Middle East issue, both sides need to be sent back. You're either Australia first or you can pack your bags. Let's see what was being said.
You can stick your Palestine up your hole. You can stick your Palestine up your hole. You can stick your Palestine. You can stick your Palestine. Yeah. Stick your Palestine up your hole. Again. Stick your Palestine.
Okay. For one, that sounds terrible. Like musically sounds terrible. For two, they're literally just copying off another rhythm and melody. Good on you guys. That's not that difficult. It's not that creative. And three, okay, so he's one of those, I don't give a fuck about any of them. It's just Australia I care about. I mean, like, ultimately, there's, I can't be bothered explaining it right now, but there's always a way that comes right back around, to being pro-Israel. It isn't, verbally. You all brought in new hate speech laws which impacted on all Australians for acts which you admit were hoaxes or foreign. You impugned, impugned on our, I don't know, infringed? So what are you going to do about these racist acts? Oh, wow, my man, he's fighting up a storm. Okay, apparently, got to give credit. I mean, for someone who said he doesn't care about both sides, he's kind of putting in a bit more effort than I would have expected. Maybe he just really cares. Oh, look, the Middle East war imported into Australia. Get back to Lakemba. Off the beach, very similar to the lines being drawn between Gaza and Israel, both sides importing their wars to Australia. Australia first to pack your bags. We said repeat self. So this is the same place.
This is our land. We don't come to Lakemba. Don't come to Bondi.
Off the beach!
I need to hear that woman again.
We don't come to Lakemba. Don't come to Bondi. This is our land. We don't. This is our land. We don't come to Lakemba. Don't come to Bondi.
While she's holding the door up like that, the door's like, please let me go. Please, I don't want to be involved. Oh my god, that threw me there. I thought I was watching The Castle for a moment. Oh!
Off the beach! Off the beach! Off the beach! Off the beach!
Jesus Christ. Well, I hope everyone was okay. Jesus fuck, that's pretty daunting. I wasn't expecting this guy to. I mean, he's still. I mean, he's. I don't know. Let's leave it. Let's see how it goes. Selective immigration policy. On immigration, should Australians have the right to choose the cultures it lets into the country? Yes, by referendum. One thing is patently clear: not all cultures are compatible with Australian Labor are creating disintegrated monoculture enclaves. Fuck, man. That is a mouthful. Yes, by referendum. Yes, excluded by offence. No, focused migrants. Okay. No, all migration. Okay. Interesting. Oh, hang on. Lobbyist. Given the Constitution places power of the vote with individuals. Oh, God, yeah. Because that's always how things have worked out. Not corporations and corporate lobbyists essentially lobby essentially lobby against laws of the land. I ask you this, should all lobbyists be banned and prohibited from the halls of Parliament? See, this is the thing that again interests me but they never put much focus on this. They talk about it. They talk about it when there's nothing else to say because they've like ran their mouth on all the racist talking points that there is to say at the moment. But then it's like, and then they throw this one out and it's, oh, cool. I mean, are we able to find out the result? I don't want to answer it. I just want to know what. Not all lobbyist communities have the right to lobby government. I mean, yeah, lobby. It's just the system of what we have at the moment, unfortunately. Australia, this is your Prime Minister in 5 words or less. Does he represent you? Okay, let's go for it. Let's hear it.
If I'm Prime Minister, I won't go missing when the going gets tough or pose for photos and then disappear.
There you go, no worries.
If
I mean, that one's pretty good. That one's pretty good. I have to admit, that one got him. Did all right there, I guess. Got him on that accord. Let me just do this, that. All right. They will stop at no law constitution breaks access as White House. Wait, was WF? I've read as White House, but no. It will stop at no law, but they will sure hide the details we are being ruled over by churches. So no, is there a shadow government feature undertaking Labor's dirty deeds outside the reach of public scrutiny? Premier blocks. I have no idea what that's going on about. Let's not even bother. Statistics aren't racist. Yeah, I'm sure they are. Man, are people still doing that line? Statistics aren't racist. Statistics aren't racist. Like, to be clear, of course not. It's how you interpreting, reinterpreting, and conveying them. Yeah. Cats.
what other people are choosing.
One of Sydney's newer suburbs has turned into a buyer battleground with nearly 40 lots of land hitting the market.
More than 100 people lined up, some waiting for days, all for a chance to find their forever home.
A buyer's battle for a piece of Sydney. A new release at Orchard Hills North between Penrith and St Mary's. First in, first on the board.
Exciting. We are very happy. We were waiting for this day for long.
Missing out previously, they started queuing last weekend.
I spent at least 2 nights here when the preview will start.
Hopefuls camping out until given numbers for the queue.
I have spent 3 nights just staying here from 7 o'clock morning till 7 o'clock at night.
Nirav numbered 12.
A bit nervous waiting.
Yeah. Let's see what other people are choosing before me.
But when the choice came...
How does that feel?
Very excited because we got our friend next to us. That is what we want.
21, 22, 23, 24.
Blocks from 300 square metres and $700,000.
This area I was keen to get something around due to new airport.
And in 90 minutes, they were gone.
There isn't a lot of land left in Sydney, so grab whatever you can.
38 lots. George and Tia had number 40.
Just missed out, but everything happens for a reason. You can't dwell on it too much. So the next one will be ours, hopefully.
It's definitely difficult, but it just means that we have to work a little bit harder.
I don't understand. I feel like I keep repeating these sort of things. I don't understand what we're saying here. Like, but who exactly won all those land parcels and who missed it? Right, yeah, okay, now I understand. Yeah, now I understand. We're pointing out the fact that the people who won were Indian and the people who lost were white. I mean, wonder why. What if Indians co-opted native title in Australia through the use of DNA linkage to First Nations people, and this was part of the UN agenda to bring in 100 million Indians to relieve overpopulation in India? Oh my God. Now we're getting the crazy shit. What? What if Indians co-opted native title in Australia through the use of DNA linkage to First Nation people? Because I am familiar that there is apparently DNA linkage, but like, because what they're saying is like, what if they all just then went, oh yeah, native title, we own it now, and then ooh, it's owned by Indians, as opposed to them already owning it because they had a lease, not a lease, sorry, because they have, what is it called? Like they own it, like piece of paper and all that. As much as that means that you own it in this world. It's interesting that the ABC is outing Labor's method of controlling the narrative on the subject of the incoming censorship. No independent reviews. Or again, I don't want my opinions on that to be misconstrued when sat next to this guy. What is this? Breaking potential attendees are being sent videos made by a Punjabi man who identifies as Apartheid Australia has sent a dark message. White man, they deserve a September 11th. The scum that we live with. Stand up for yourselves, people. Okay.
You know how it is in this country? They call you something racial. They have the right to freedom of speech. So it's not an offense to call you something, whatever they wanted to call you. So at the end of the day, white man, apartheid rules.
Hang on, is that? Let me just.
Hope.
Okay. It's their video, for whatever reason.
Silently apartheid
I'm sorry.
policies. Everything is done to save the white man's skin and make his life better at the expense of the colored man. You know, they deserve September 11. This scum that we live with. This scum that talks about equality, fair go and whatever bullshit. Well, we know they're hypocrites from day one and they always will be. So start standing up for yourselves, people. You know how it is in this country?
I don't really know what to make of that, but alright, you can be scared to shit over it. That's reposting something from July 6. Nepal has descended into chaos now that social media bans have come into effect. Okay, we're doing social media ban stuff. Chinese vote in the referendum has been ignored. What was it again? Oh yeah, because of the People's Treaty thing. We're gloating about opening the floodgates and special visas now available for Indians. Breaking the Victorian has fallen as expels the leader of the opposition for asking questions in relation to the state's deadly crime epidemic. Yeah, alright.
Attorney, how many more women need to be threatened, assaulted or carjacked in broad daylight before your government finally acts to fix Victorians' broken bail laws and puts community safety first? Have you?
Order! Order! Leader of the Nationals. Premier. Attorney General.
Thank you, Speaker.
Member for
I'm
Kew.
not sure where the Leader of the Opposition has been all year, but I will remind the Leader of the Opposition...
Attorney will resume her seat. Member for Eureka. On a point of order, Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Speaker. In relation to relevance, all this year I've been listening to the victims that are piling up here in our state as the crime increases and people continuously get bailed.
There is no point of order. Attorney. Leader of the Opposition.
Is he going to get expelled?
Leader of the Opposition, you will have to leave the chamber for an hour.
Oh.
I will not tolerate this kind of disrespect to the chair.
Oh, no.
The attorney to continue. Order.
Oh,
Make that
it's
an
happening.
hour and a half.
Mate, and you want to silence the opposition?
Leader of the Opposition.
These people are letting him out continuously and you want to go down.
Oh.
Leader of the Opposition.
Oh. He left with some sass. Oh, that's very awkward for the Liberals.
I named order. I named the
they're all
Leader
just
of the
leaving.
Opposition for disregarding the authority of the chair. I ask the minister at the table to move the appropriate motion.
Speaker, I move that the member for Berwick, Mr Brad Batten, be suspended from the service of the House for the remainder of the sitting day under section 126, number 2.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. All of that opinion say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. No. The ayes have it. No. Division required. Ask the clerk to ring the bell. The result of the division is ayes 54 and noes 25. Therefore, the motion is agreed to. On the minister's statement.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he didn't shut the fuck up. And I don't know enough about Victorian crime to be able to comment. Australia, we need to demand a serious conversation. Who are we? Where is our government taking this country? It isn't about hate, it's about history, knowing who we were before they told us who to be. Before everyone else's special interests came first. I'm pretty sure I read this elsewhere. I'm pretty sure this isn't a repost. Oh, yep, okay, follow, yeah, from Shallow Cow. Yep, Chow. So we know. Is this no, it won't be him. Has there ever been a more embarrassingly disconnected, subversive Prime Minister in Australia and want to change the country? Oh, he is, and his progressive patriotism is not to Australia, but to globalists, as Aussies are an inconvenience to his plan. Yep, sure, that's the issue. Your support on the subject of Indian migration numbers to Australia and how they've been proven to vote 85% Labor pro-mass migration who represent. Yeah, I mean, again, this is the white replacement theory. Yeah, we've seen this one. Brittany Higgins has been ordered to pay Linda Reynolds legal fees, which have exceed $1 million. This latest decision represents 80% of Ms. Reynolds' total costs. This leaves owing. Oh, Brittany Higgins nearly went for defaming her unlawfully. Higgins could have apologized. I don't remember any of this. It's been a while. I just wanted to see what they were up to since their excursion. Oh, let's do it, Peter Credlin. Yeah,
we are definitely.
They tell me that you are opposing it, but will you repeal it if you form government?
Yeah, we are definitely opposing this legislation, and Peter, I know that your listeners are well and truly aware of that, and we'll be working through...
Okay, but that's not the question. I'm asking you whether you will repeal it. If you're not going to repeal it, tell me that. If you're only thinking about whether you're repealing it, let me know that as well. But give me an answer on the question of whether you would repeal it if it passes the Parliament.
Yeah. As I said, Peter, and I only can say we will have an alternative in there. That is the best way to describe. We'll have an alternative that says what can we do to ensure we're delivering the outcomes for Aboriginal people here in Victoria, because that'd be the priority. This government's been in for 10 years and haven't done it. So to have the alternative, my instinct would be that it wouldn't be there in the future.
Right, I like that instinct. Let's make that reality. I'll leave it there, Brad Batten. Thank you.
Hang on, I just need a... Hi, is that better? Are you going to repeal the racist voice treaty occupation or not? Yes or no? This is... I like how even Peter Cradlin was sort of a bit like, yeah, but are you gonna fucking do it? Like, come on. You gotta give me something, mate. You gotta give me something to work with. Gotta give me something. Oh dear. I need stuff full. Let's just have that go like that, that. Good enough. Alright. Next thing. Jeez, this guy doesn't stop, does he? You know what? I'm just gonna take a brief sec. Just a brief sec. Just a brief sec. Okay. After Ozentake, I'm probably gonna do toilet break. But yeah. So let's see here. Imagine being such an unliked, limp, insipid Australian Prime Minister that you spend taxpayers' money on social media influencers dressing an audience that you're about to cut off social media. Mass fraud. Oh, several videos and research papers are making their way onto social media by both Indians and Muslims that they too are First Nation peoples who had arrived in Australia around 4,000 years ago. The claimed native title land. I have not heard anything about this. I don't know, and the fact that they don't even have a reference, like they don't even have an article or anything, tells me that they don't either. That they don't know either. That they're just talking out of their ass. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've been around these sorts of, like, these lands. Ahead of, oh yeah, the treaty thing. This guy just loves going off. So this guy, reprogram children, claim to aboriginality. This guy's very concerned about how legitimate someone can be when claiming aboriginality. Which, to be honest, I just don't even care. Like, congratulations, Melbourne. You've taken 2 new awards. Lowest fertility birth rate, highest migration rate. I mean, they tend to go hand in hand quite often, yeah. Revelations, Modi's party has foreign agents working within Labour and Liberal electorates. In the US, they deemed foreign agents in Australia. They're not escaping scrutiny. This is electoral fraud and treason. ABC broke details from ASIO Indian PM. A lot of this is about just this. This is a whole new thing. This is a whole. I mean, I don't know if this was ever talked about in relation to March for Australia, but I'm not familiar with any of this. Um, Given the position taken by Susan Lay today in a decision to abandon, just surprise, dumping her off. Ah, so she's been dumped off the cabinet, I guess. I didn't know that. See, I'm going to try and stay up to date more on these things now. Who is ready for a new blue? People First Party that looks like this. It's all just white guys, but we got the one token. We got the one black lady who likes us. I'm ready for right-leaning libs to jump ship. Who should we add to this mix to create an electable team? Would you three hat in this ring a coalition of the minor right, replacing LNP? Oh boy, I can see it. I've said this after the federal election. I can see this happening. The right wing is just going to fracture and fracture and fracture. I hope they do. Congratulations to the British community. Tyrannical rulers tried to erase truth. Instead, they burned this image into history. I don't even know what that is a reference to. What is that a reference to? Breaking Hamas supporter flying the flag of terrorist, and then here's the back to being the anti-Palestine shit. Charges because of shocking error in new laws. Escapes charges. Supporter walks free as Labour's weak terror charges slammed. Who's to say he was a terrorist? I mean, I shouldn't jump to the conclusions. I don't know. Charlie Kirk's last tweet was him talking about someone getting killed. How poetic. By the way, this is about someone who got killed. It was it was really unfortunate. It was a guy who was gone fucking crazy and he killed her and it was sad. And she come from Ukraine, escaping the war. And and the right wing have spun it a week since into a story about how no one's talked about it, about how it's black on white crime and no one's willing to talk about it. Oh, here's interesting. We got an Aboriginal flag here. Post your photos. I do find that funny because I'm pretty sure I remember seeing someone getting yelled at for having one of these. I guess this one got to get away with it. All right, so is that the end of Oz Integrity? So yeah, this guy he loves his posting. He loves his posting. Um, he I guess that's how he's dealt with his shit since. So next we're gonna do Shallow Chow, but I'm just gonna quickly go to the toilet. Okay. Let's get back to it, eh? So, Shalo Chal. He's really big about the budget stuff. I think this is a guy who's like one of those budget hawks, one of those deficit hawks. He would probably have every single social service defunded with the hopes of, you know, that drops the deficit and shit like that. He clearly loves his AI art as well. I can tell because I mean a human can only misspell regulations so many times before you start to notice, and it's pretty egregious misspelling here, to say the slightest. Um, from what I remember, he's boring. He's really boring. He's like a he's like a dad. He's basically just like your dad kind of thing. So what there is this one thing he does say, which I guess is sort of interesting, and then we're just going to go back up, and I want to look at the Charlie Kirk thing because obviously Charlie Kirk, he's passed, he's just died, so it'd be interesting to see what he has to say on that. 3% of Australia's population now identifies as having Indian heritage. That's about 900,000 people. It's a big number. It is a big number. There's no doubt about that. Now flip it. If 3% of India's population had Australian heritage, you'd have 42.9 million people. That's not just a big number. That's almost double the entire population of Australia, and far more than the total number of people who have ever been born here in the last 200 years. I don't know if that's even true, eh? That'd be interesting. I wonder. But anyways, think about that for a second. Australia has never, in its entire history, produced 43 million people, but just 3% of one foreign country could outnumber every soul in this land that this land has ever raised. That's the demographic imbalance we're dealing with. That's the scale mismatch no one in Canberra will talk about. I love that they make out as if no one else can figure that out. Like, yeah, we're aware about numbers. We figured out the numbers on that, mate. We understand that. The issue is you're kind of referring to another group of people like a horde of an an overwhelming force that is of barbarians that are going to come and attack. Where is it? Because there was a statement because the inputs are getting bigger than the system can hold, and no one at the top has the courage to say stop. No. Where was it? Yeah, here he is. This country is being overwhelmed and your culture is being destroyed. Like that is the fundamental thing that's happening here. That they think that their country is getting overwhelmed and that their culture is getting destroyed, that they feel overwhelmed, they feel scared. There was, I don't remember if it was in this one or the previous live stream, I can't remember now, but there was a thing where it was literally like, it's not racist to say that we feel overwhelmed. Oh yeah, no, that's right. He it's further down here. Yeah, oh perfect. He is basically saying here, it's a statement by the Hindu Association of Australia, and he's saying what they should have said, but they didn't say. And it's literally like, we're so grateful to actually have been migrants to your country, and oh, you're such a great country, and oh, we're not here to try and destroy. We want to be good citizens. Where was it? We don't blame Australians for feeling overwhelmed. We don't blame Australians for feeling overwhelmed. Like, think about that. Pa- how patronizing do you need this more to be? Um, Australians are right to ask serious questions about immigration levels and cultural cohesion. It is their country and we respect that. Like, what the fuck does this? It's not your country. It's not you who you consider to be Australians' country. It's all of our. It's not even our. Like, it's no one's. This is just where we live, bro. That's how it works. We're just trying to get by. Everyone's just trying to get by. Come on, brother. Everyone's just trying to get bad. He did a thing after March for Australia alongside Rob uh, McMullen, where they were just we know we know what it is. Yeah, it was peaceful kind of shit. Oh, young people have the right to be mad about whether or not they're called racist. The blob shit again. I want to see where is it? Where was it? We were just having. I skimmed across it just at the beginning. Oh yeah, this is more. This is actually by the Dusty Bogan, who I think is another organizer for Brisbane. I can't remember exactly, but this guy. We get a bit more of your great placement stuff here. You can say teal voters are older white women. You can say vegans and uni kids vote green. You can say white blokes and pensioners vote conservative. You know what? So far, I'm going to be honest. So far, we haven't had that many incorrect things. You can even say Indigenous communities vote Labour. Maybe? I don't even know about that anymore. But if you say Indian voters back Labour, suddenly it's off limits. But if you say African communities are overrepresented in violent crime and home invasions, you're branded as a racist. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, we jumped to the 1350 logic. That's the stitch up. Some truths are allowed, others are silenced. The media and pollies aren't protecting people, they're protecting themselves. They save face by shutting you up, and even and when you won't shut up, they smear you. No wonder Aussies have lost all faith in the media. No wonder they don't trust Labour, the Greens, or even Liberals. They lie to our faces while selling out our future. This is why the nationalist revolution's kicking off in Australia. People have had a gutful. Mass migration has to end, and let's be honest, every multicultural group has a lobby ready to froth at the mouth of them for their mop. Indians, Zionists, Islamists, Indigenous, gay people, you name it. They're all cashing in. It's about bloody time. Anglo-Celtic, that's right, that's what it is. It's the Anglo-Celtic shit. Sorry, I got it wrong. Anglo-Celtic. European Australians head on too because what do they need? What is it that you guys are getting? That what you guys aren't getting right now that you are needing? That is explicitly an Anglo-Celtic thing. Like without just lobbying for laws and whatnot that are just they're inadvertently just other issues. What issues are you going to be lobbying for that are in regards to Anglo-Celtic? I just don't get it. Uh, oh yeah, we get.
I've got a really simple test for whether or not mass immigration or multiculturalism is working in Australia, and that's to ask myself the question, is Australia a better place in 2025 than it was in 2015? Take that one step further.
Is it?
Was Australia...
Is it me or is he doing some weird sort of cutesy dog face pouty look when he moves? Look at him.
You're a better mass immigration or multiculturalism is working in Australia, and that's to ask myself the question, is Australia a better place in 20...
It's kind of adorable in its own way. It's weird. It's weird to look at.
25 than it was in 2015.
Yes. Wait, better? Wait, what's the question? Better? Yes, I would. Well, thing is, there is so much difference between those 2 years. But I would probably say yes. And honestly, thanks to immigration, as seen by, there was the whole COVID thing.
Take that one step further. Was Australia a better place in 2015 or 2005?
Well, I'd say things in 2005, if we want to talk about in regards to race relations, weren't good. We definitely got better on that. From 2005 to 2015, we definitely got better on that. I would actually say that's not the best example to give on its part. I feel like from 2005 to 2015, things kind of did get better.
The way I see it, and the way a lot of other people see it, Australia was a better place before we decided to flood the joint with tons and tons of non-assimilating migrants.
And there you go. There you have it. Tons and tons of non-assimilating migrants. Put aside all of the cutesy dog face looks he can give you, and at the end of the day, he's ranting about immigrants. He's ranting about fucking non-white people or whatever shit. Um, like he wouldn't. I don't know how much he's aware, but Italians, Greeks, all the different groups of people who came to Australia before, they had trouble assimilating as well. They had a lot of trouble assimilating, and that became a part of different stories that we got out of those times. Different books and art and poetry and whatnot came from those stories of the fact that people, Polish, again, Italian, Greek, etc., that they did struggle with assimilation because it wasn't the same culture to them.
Australia is going down the gurgler. It's not getting any better. And in 10 more years, you'll wish you were in 2025. I've got a real...
True. True. Couldn't disagree more. Couldn't... Shit, what I mean? Couldn't agree more. This is what I wanted to say, yeah, honestly.
And wise as this young man here.
Oh my
I could
God.
only ever hope to be as intelligent and wise as this young man here. God sent you down here to do some...
Oh, fuck. What? Hey, why does it have to be the religious shit? I guess. The American flag, the Australian flag.
Absolutely magical work. You knew how to communicate with people. You were always honest. You were never aggressive.
Never
You were
aggressive.
always full of conviction, and you knew exactly what you were talking about. You never belittled people, ever. And when people are threatened by intelligence and emotional IQ, they often lash out with anger. And that's exactly what we've seen happen here. I'm not going to speculate on who did what and where and how. But I do know this, that the world is in a pretty fucked up place right now. And when crazy people
fucked up.
or crazy agencies are deciding to take out people like this, you've really got to look around and wonder, how the heck did we get here? Because this is not the world that I always imagined that I was going to grow up to be a part of. And we all know something significantly wrong here. And we can think of...
I say this a lot, and I've probably already said this on here, but like, child brain is all that comes to my brain. Is all that comes to my mind. Child brain. Oh, this isn't what I grew up expecting things were going to be. No one expected this. No one expected things like this.
Point and blame and hate, but I'll ask you this one question: what would Charlie say about this? What would Charlie say?
What would Charlie say? Literally the Jesus mantra.
Because I suspect that this man of conviction, faith, and love would not have hate for his enemies. And I don't hate the people trying to destroy us either. I feel an immense amount of pity and sadness for being such demonic.
Oh, yes. Oh, I bet.
Your judgment will be in the hands of God. Rest in peace, Charlie. You were an absolute inspiration.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Well, that's that guy. Hang on, let me just do a little check to see how we're doing. Still going. Far out. Um, I'm gonna look at one more one more account on their end, which is Bender. And then I think I'm gonna pretty well leave it there because those were like the main people anyway. The others, like they were named, but honestly, I think they were really just named for the sake of like getting like the social media like circles and all that. I could be wrong, but um, this guy, I mean, I know already, we know what this guy looks like. I don't know if I can really put up a photo here because I don't know if I like it would take too much effort to try and get it on this computer right now because it's on my phone. But and I also don't want to release that just in case. But some folks, through some sources, I know what Bender looks like, and he's an old guy, which it checks out. I mean, his name's his thing is Bender, but he, from what I've gathered, is pretty like he's big on like the Epstein list, like anti-Epstein, not pro-pedophilia. Um, so yep, of course, pieces of leftist shit like this should be shunned from society. We're not the same. I want to see this. Mike Hudson, it's worth to have a cost of unfortunately some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. God granted him his wish. Lucky guy! I mean, they're literally just quoting him, and then one guy is just saying, lol, I guess he got his wish then, eh? And they're saying, oh, these horrible pieces of shit, they're nothing like us. Nothing like us at all. And that's what I love about Bender. He goes off. He goes crazy. Like, he's a real poster. He's a real schizo poster. Yeah, like, I mean, he's reposting all this stuff here. Just want to see something on here for a sec. Dear Indian political donors, if Senator Price has offended you so much that you are now leveraging your political donations against the duopoly, maybe you should return to India and bribe the political process instead of ours. In late October, the March for Australia will take place around Australia, and one more call on the Australia. Wait, is there going to be another one? Or is he in cahoots with? No, because that's September. Accuracy isn't your friend here, Mr. Non-Citizen and Stork Co. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting a little bored of these people. So what I'm thinking, I think we might do something a little different. I'm gonna take a break. I just realized I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna think about what we can cover. So I kind of want to do something a bit different. In fact, why is Indians? I have no idea what's going on there. That might be related to completely other shit. I have no idea. So I'm just going to hold off on that for a moment. We'll be back. We are back. Jesus, I just looked like a muppet then. So there's one thing I want to do. I'm going to look up, what was it? March for Australia. Where was the... I know that... Nope. Just bear with me. Yeah.
This is a video you...
So at a point, we're going to be watching that. It is a bit boring, unfortunately. But we're just going to go find Ozpeel. Have I added him to my list? Yeah. What the fuck? assassination culture they and their media arms have created. The assassination culture. Leaning left on the gun issue. I mean, to be fair, that was that. It's morbid, but it's a little funny. Fucked around and found out he died doing what he loved, spreading racist, misogynistic, transphobic hatred. It's pretty true. Neck exposed, asking. Oh, oh, that's rough. That's a good one. He should have been dressed appropriately. I mean, it looks like he was asking for it. It's pretty good. This proves that Trump's attempt was definitely staged. Charlie had to carry that bullet full term too. He didn't want to, but that's God's will. If no one want, can I get that zoomed in on? It looks terrible. Never mind. If no wants shooty neck, then why neck so shooty? Should have worn a turtleneck. Shouldn't go out tempting the bullets. Slutty neck. Going out wearing that slutty. I mean, I wouldn't really call this assassination culture. That's an interesting term to refer to it. That's fucking crazy. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Jesus Christ. Oh, and then it got him. It got him. Oh no. He warned us back in April. Fuck me. We don't have a motive, and a father is dead, yet their only concern is that their celebrations are going to radicalize us. Okay, now Elon Musk. Next, he loved the second. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh on this. He loved the Second Amendment so much he experienced both sides of the gun. Chat, I'm getting worried he might have lived. Good riddance. You guys need to realize that your reactions matter. Celebrating murder is going to radicalize so many. Does it expand? No, no, it doesn't expand. Never mind. Oh well, whatever. Day 2 of transcendent viral edits. I don't know what this is. Edits have completely transcended because leftists instinctually know this edit has political meaning but look insane trying to explain how. An attractive white guy and all sorts of. Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. Honestly, I feel like the fact that I've read it here, I can tell now. I can tell that it's just bullshit. But in that, oh God, okay, fair enough. Maybe they got me there. So I was gonna say maybe in that, therefore there is meaning to it, but oh, feels like a very pertinent time to remind people about the Indian spies that were quietly expelled from Australia who manipulated our trade deals so they would include outrageous open borders tier immigration migration pacts. Man, let's hear it.
According to last year's census, Indians have surged past the Chinese and are about to overtake the British too to become our most dominant migrant group.
Australia pays an Indian migrant.
Okay, first off, the music. Oh my goodness. This is like trying to induce fear factor. Holy shit.
Nearly $400,000 a year just for him to tell them there's too many white people in the country. Here he is asking, why is it there are so few people that look like me? When Indian spies were expelled from Australia, there was no condemnation from any sitting member of our parliament. It barely made the news, and Australians either didn't know it happened or didn't care it happened. Australia's trade agreements with India include uncapped migration. You know how we have an immigration crisis? You know how we have 10,000 people coming here every single week? Well, these spies likely are playing a hand in that. Peter Varghese, who is the head of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, who headed the India Economic Strategy, said we should put more Indians in position of power in corporate and government roles, advocating for the interests of a foreign government under the auspices of...
That sounds fun. I'm going to have to do a lot of assuming on this one because I just haven't done the reading on this, unfortunately. Which is bad on my part. Where are the migrants? Where are the people that they took from me? Took like me. Yep, reposting Tony Abbott. Just because immigration is a sensitive subject doesn't mean it shouldn't be discussed. In settler societies, there's often particular reticence because almost everyone is an immigrant or the descendant of immigrants, and raising immigration can seem personal in a way. Oh. But it's more than possible to be pro-migrant without supporting an ever larger and an ever more diverse immigration program. Now, this will be interesting. This is going to be Tony Abbott. This is going to be Tony Abbott trying to weave the line, trying to walk the thin line of, as a white guy as well, as an English white guy, argue how you can be pro-migrant and also anti-migrant, ultimately, or like anti-immigration. Indeed, given that migrants choose to come to their new home, there should be no expectation in making migrants welcome. Okay, well there you go, straight off the bat. Like, what do you need right there? Oh, okay, can't be welcome. That they be allowed to reshape their new countries to resemble their old ones. Okay, well straight away. All right, there we go. There's the assumption. I feel like I'm going to need to think a good way to explain how to deal with that argument that they always have, that this idea of like that they always seem to implicitly believe that everyone is just trying to reshape country. Like the thing, well, I guess it's like the thing is like what they're talking about is culture, and then what we mean by culture when we really get down to it, when these types of people talk about culture, they just mean like why they mean skin color. And so it's like culture's always changing. Like if they're taking their argument genuinely, it's like, well, culture's always changing. So who, they are contributing. Anyway, It's precisely because immigration can touch so many deep chords and can make such a difference to the way people live that it may need to be talked about and subsequently better managed, especially especially when very high immigration is driving economic and social strain. My latest, oh, here we go. Yep, he's got a fucking pace. What, on Substack? Nope, nope, his own website, of course. Massive immigration is insane and will lead to the destruction of any country that allows it. I explain how it only takes a tiny percentage of the world to move to a country, and it is no longer that country. A country is its people, not its geography. O- Okay, but that would mean then that you're British. That would mean that you're British, not Australian. I think there's kind of something, funnily enough, honest about this, which is that back in the, from what I understand from history, like Australian history, Australian was more of a reference to white Australian, to British Australians, typically born here and grown up here, and that Australian, like that was it. That was what Australian was, and otherwise it was like, yeah, otherwise you were Italian, otherwise you were Greek, otherwise you were Polish, otherwise you were German, otherwise Chinese, etc. Otherwise you were Aboriginal, as they would generally say back then. And now we say, well, then it was Indigenous Australian, and now we've moved to First Nations. And I feel like there's honestly something. Oops. I feel like there's honestly something kind of honest about them admitting that that they don't want it to be anything other than that. Um, because that seems to be just the way it works, the way their brain is figuring it out. And I mean, I guess I don't know. I'd have to read into it, read up on it. He really likes these things. Sad glimpse into the future of Australia. Politicians obsessing over various migrant groups vote. Beginning of the end of Australian sovereignty plus self-determination. Elections reduced to an ethnic headcount instead of the cohesive expression of the will of the nation. Take that for what that is, I guess. Beginning of the end of Australian sovereignty plus self-determination. What happened to not giving a fuck about other people's self-determination? Elections reduced to an ethnic hate count instead of the cohesive expression of the will of the people. It's kind of funny that they say that because when you really get down to it, that's kind of what they want. It's just they want to get the non-white people out first and then do that. They're like, yeah, 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 we'll get to that. We'll get to the ethnic head count. Just wait till we're the ethno state first. Wait till we're an ethno state and then we can do the ethno count. The ethno count. Oh god. I like that we've got a really shitty looking fucking like what anime version of him. John Lawson. Oh god. Ozpil hopped on the pod to recap the first match versus let's see. Oh, it's just it's the link to it or whatever. Anglo's the native tribe of Australia. As you can see, content warning, but we're gonna watch it because that's what we do here. Well, you know, we're gonna we're gonna have fun with this while we're here. Let's let's make it worth his while. Let's make it worth his while. I'm gonna save this little guy. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just save it here. And then we'll just do another for that. Yep. Not perfect, but that's okay. We can fix that up in post. Yep. And then the last one. Save that. Alright, cool. That took us a little moment. Let me just bring those up. What am I doing? He just he looks so proud of himself, you know? I'm gonna now set this up on my phone. Yep. Alright, we'll keep moving on now. Critics call it militaristic or wasteful, but patriots call it Kino. Australia needs more displays of Defence Force assets like this flyover from Brisbane's River Fire Festival. Yeah, whatever. I don't really care. Anyone does it. I mean, I guess they may as well do something, right? It's better than having them fucking bomb somewhere. Like, if they're gonna do something, if we have to have them do something. Is this much racial resentment typical in this sorts of relationships? More housework because his people protested against immigration. Come on, man. This is just funny. Even if you up from the protest, that's funny. Oh well. Becoming India concerns white people getting ethnically replaced by Indians, not whether your students like sandwiches or football. You'll realize becoming India is fear talk. My Indian Aussie students love Vegemite Sammies and footy, same as mine. Yeah, Ozpil, you missed the point still. The point is that they actually do assimilate into our country. As much as you claim that they don't, they actually do. It's the fact that we don't force them to assimilate into our country. But I mean, in the case with Indians, a lot of them, a lot of the Indian community, they come over here. Those who do come over here are quite, what would you say, economically and financially capable, and so like they could get here, and so and is what the reason why we don't have 46 million or whatever it was that the other guy was saying, Shallow Chow was saying. Um, but nonetheless, the point is that they're assimilating. Indians being imported into Australia because they vote Labor. Is just enterprise right? Is this what she said? Oh no. Is this what you're saying? Okay. Let's have a look at what you said. Oh, of course it's
Labor
the
is
notice up.
importing voters.
Shadow ministers accused the Albanese government of bending migration to bring in more potential Labor voters.
Absolutely. I mean, this is Labor.
And which groups favour Labor?
There is a concern with the Indian community.
So is it true that the majority of Indians vote Labor? Well, yes. According to the most prestigious political analyst in this country, 85% of Indians vote for Labor.
85% of the Indian diaspora voted for the Labor Party at the last election. Well, give thereabouts. It varies across the country.
Is it also true that a massive amount of Indians are coming to Australia under Labor?
I would be interested to read into the facts of that. This is not the night that I'm going to be reading into the facts of that, but later we could actually read into the facts of that, and that might actually be a really interesting stream. That could be a really interesting stream to read into migration rates across, different years and who and what. I might actually write that down as an idea. Thank you, Ozpil. You have given me a brilliant idea. All right. Otherwise, I don't know, I don't care.
Yes. So regardless of religion, Labor is importing voters.
Of
The
course.
Indian population has more than doubled in the last 10 years, and now there are over 1 million.
Hang on. Who has been in power for the most of the last 10 years? Well, I will admit I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was something like 2021, 2022. When did Albo get back in power? Actually, you know what? Yeah. Australian federal election. Just because, look, man, I forgot. It's been a while. It's been 5 years or whatever. Like, we're saying 10 years, right? Yeah, so 22. And then, okay, let's just say, so then we have ScoMo. Turnbull. We know this whole process. Abbott. And then what? Wait, hang on, because we're going to 2015. So Abbott, Turnbull. Hang on, Turnbull was he for 6 years? Wait. Oh wait, yeah, because this is the 2016 one. Sorry. Had a freak out there for a moment. Okay, so hang on. So yeah, Abbott during this period. Then we got Turnbull. And then we had ScoMo. And then we got Albo. But that was only for 3 of the 10 years. So for 7 of those years, and a few more preceding beforehand. So like what, for the past 12 years or something, it's been the Liberal Party. Just to make that clear. Not that I'm a Labour guy per se.
Indians who were born in India living in Australia. That means over 500,000 voters.
Sorry, hang on, wait. Let's just.
The Indian population has more than doubled in the last 10 years, and now there are over 1 million Indians who were born in India living in Australia. That
I think it was just under 1 million, but let's just go with that. What's the problem with that? Like, okay. Like, I'll be honest, I live where I live in the area that I live in. I'm not going to say it's predominantly Indian. I don't know based off of any statistics or anything like that. But if just simply going outside, there's definitely an Indian community here. And I don't see any issue with it at all. Now, this is just anecdotal, of course. But yeah, I've yet to hear an issue so far.
That means over 500,000 voters who didn't exist just a few years ago now exist and vote for Labor. But
so that's not how that works, because first off, they have to grow up to be adults, first off. So you got 18 years roughly once they're born in Australia. Wait, was it people who were born?
Indians are coming to Australia under Labor? Yes. So regardless of intention, Labor is importing voters. The Indian population has more than doubled in the last 10 years. And now there are over 1 million Indians who were born in India living in Australia.
Oh, okay, sorry. So they're born in India, living in Australia.
That means over 500,000.
Wait, and what was it again?
And now there are over 1 million Indians who were born in India living in Australia.
Okay, so there's. Man, because we're dealing with all these different numbers, man. I mean, still at the end of the day, my point of view is going to be still, I don't care. I don't care. Let's just keep it going.
That means over 500,000 voters who didn't exist.
That's right. Over 500,000 voters. How? Are you wait, assuming 100% voter turnout, assuming they were all to gain citizenship, you get the idea regardless. It's gerrymandering via demographics. No, because they're not going to get citizenship. I mean, oh God.
A few years ago now exist and vote for Labor. But what is the explanation as to why Indians don't vote for the Liberals and vote for Labor? The reason why migrant community groups like Indians rejected the Liberal Party, according to the same prestigious political analysis I talked about earlier, is because of immigration rhetoric. The Liberals' plan the last election was to cut immigration by like 20% just for 2 years, a tiny and marginal cut. But this resulted in backlash from migrant groups who walked away from them over this one issue. And in response to this, the Liberal Party has become rapidly more left-wing in recent months, with appointments like Scar.
Jesus Christ. I mean, maybe. I guess so. I guess they're having to claw back everything. But, uh,
marginal cut, but this resulted in backlash from migrant groups who walked away from them over this one issue. And in response to this, the Liberal Party has become rapidly more left-wing in recent months, with appointments like Scar, Hamilton, Lay, all pro-immigration people. They think they need to win back these migrant groups and switch up their messaging on immigration to be for it. This is why democracy dies with multiculturalism. Instead of elections being about the cohesive expression of the will of the people and the best party for the nation, it's now just an ethnic headcount. It's now just a game of politicians trying to win over these ethnic nations living within ours by promising to import more of them. In fact, they now say it might be impossible to win on reducing immigration in Australia.
It may be impossible to win on reducing immigration in Australia. I actually think I would agree with that. I think this is an issue that has been relegated so much to what is the far right that the best that they're gonna like, because the thing is we are different to America, and it's one of the few things that I really do appreciate is the fact that we are different to America, and that is in the political sense, and that is because uh, how would you put it? Uh, well, really, we've always been connected to the English system, so we are a lot more in line with that. And obviously, America has had roughly at least more than over 250 years. I think that's what they're doing the bloody anniversary for soon. 250 years of being disconnected from England, despite maybe even having some things inspired by it, but nonetheless. And so uh, our system is a little bit different. One of those ways in which is the parliamentary system. The parliamentary system has all these different parties. We can have all these different parties. And so what we're saying is that they're all just a bunch of, there's all just these different minor far right parties. And I feel I'm not basing, I mean, this is a prediction. I think that what we're going to see, if according to him, the Liberal Party is trying to claw back like into the pro-immigration leaning, which it doesn't surprise me so much. But if they end up having to bounce back on that because of like backlash from voters or whatever, I can see them eventually bleeding voters to all of the other far right minor parties, and eventually it's just a lot of far right minor parties, and they never really can. But because they all disagree with each other for all their own different reasons, maybe like one of them actually is kind of pro-immigrant, well, like liberal, like maybe it will be like the pro-immigration one, but it's far right and everything else. You know, we'll have like the Bob Katter Party, we'll have One Nation, there'll be other things to be there to fill in. There'll be the Sovereign Citizen Party and shit. Nonetheless, I think in a weird way, yeah. I'm just going to leave it. Let's just continue watching this guy.
Just because of how radio.
By the way, this is the guy, to be clear, who ended up being the son and grandson of real estate moguls, really wealthy ones. So just keep that in mind. There is a reason why he's harping on the immigration issue more than anything.
How active it is for these migrant groups. It's a single issue that for these migrant and multicultural groups makes or breaks their vote. And the only way to counter that, the only way to ensure that immigration remains debatable in our politics is by the Australians making it their single issue. That way, these major parties have to start listening to us again. Otherwise, we'll lose our democracy, our identity, and our nation.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what he's all about.
Labor is.
I didn't want to hear from you again. Not in that video. A gang of leftists in full black bloc, wall and belt. Let's go for it.
Is ours, and the only people who want to tell.
The fact that this white man had the audacity to say that the British people weren't immigrants when they came to Australia. This is our land.
It is our land, though. We created Australia. We are Australians. That continent is ours. And the only people who want to tell us that it's stolen land and that it doesn't belong to us are people who want to take it from us. And along that same ulterior motive of wanting to steal the country from us is this argument that we're all immigrants, that the first Australian pioneers who were British and built the country from literally dirt and bush into a first world country, that they are somehow the same as the immigrants who rock up today to our post-industrial aging society, is a non sequitur. The only reason...
I just need to quickly turn the light on there from the looks of it. However, I do find it rather amusing. I've always found it rather amusing, this idea of, well, we were the ones who built up this country. And it's like, well, yeah, sure, if you consider the fact that you also had to, you you did actually enslave people from other islands to come to this country to help plow the lands for you. You brought animals, like foreign animals, and flora, and just resources in general to be able to support your bloody colonies in here to begin with. The only reason why you were able to beat the Aboriginals ultimately was mostly because you had guns. There was that sort of advantage. You did have a bit of an advantage there. And I don't know what else. Yeah, also like there was a lot of advantages going around, which kind of just culminated in fucking over other people. Which, like, okay, sure, you built up the country. Congratulations. No one cares. Everyone is just, well, like, it's more.